Without her courage, there may never have been a Moses. Jochebed lived during a state-sponsored genocide. Pharaoh feared the growing Hebrew population, so he issued a horrifying decree in Book of Exodus chapter 1 verse 22. Every Hebrew baby boy was to be thrown into the Nile River. Imagine the psychological terror. Every cry of a newborn could attract soldiers. Every neighbor could become an informant. The Nile River, once a source of life, had become a graveyard for innocent children. And then Jochebed became pregnant. But here's the question. How do you protect life when the government has legalized death? Hebrews 11:23 says Moses' parents hid him because they saw he was no ordinary child. That statement is profound. Jochebed believed her son belonged to God's purpose and not Pharaoh's decree. For 3 months she hid him in silence. Think about that. No loud crying, no mistakes, no exposure. One sound could mean execution for the entire family, yet faith kept moving. Not passive faith, active faith, because biblical faith is never merely belief. It is courageous action under impossible circumstances. But another question now emerges. What do you do when faith can no longer hide? When Jochebed could hide Moses no longer, she built an ark. Notice the symbolism. The same God who once preserved Noah through water would now preserve Moses through water. She carefully placed the basket among the reeds, not recklessly, strategically, because trusting God does not mean abandoning wisdom. She positioned Miriam nearby to watch. This was faith mixed with intelligence, courage mixed with planning. And then came the hardest moment of all. She let go. That may have been the greatest act of love in the story, because true love is willing to surrender control if surrender means life. And in one of history's greatest reversals, Pharaoh's own daughter rescued the very child Pharaoh tried to destroy. The empire unknowingly financed the survival of its future liberator. Jochebed never ruled a nation, never commanded an army, never wore a crown, yet her faith shaped history. Because sometimes the greatest acts of courage happen in silence, behind closed doors, when nobody is watching except God. And maybe that's the real lesson of Jochebed. One mother's courageous act of faith can change a generation. But here's the final profound question. If your faith were tested the way Jochebed's was, would fear control your decisions, or would trust in God overcome the power of an empire?